And in some news breaking this minute, latest in the Muzaffarpur shelter home rape case, the CBI has told the Supreme Court that a skeleton of a 15-year-old girl was unearthed at a cremation ground while conducting the investigations. Remember, this is the latest that we're bringing to you from the Bihar shelter home case, where the CBI has now taken this entire investigation into their hands. Bhavtosh now joining me on the phone line with more updates. Bhavtosh, help us understand. The CBI, which is looking into the government officials' role as well in the Bihar shelter home case, has come up with a new revelation of how they have found a skeleton inside the Bihar Muzaffarnagar shelter home rape case.
In fact, the CBI Special Crime Unit team from Delhi had gone to Sikandarpur yesterday, which is a village in Muzaffarpur. They had gone to an abandoned cemetery where, on identification of Bharat Singh Thakur's driver, they recovered or they excavated a burial ground, and they recovered skeletal remains of a teenager. Now, they have said that the skeletal remain has been sent for forensic examination at the CFSL lab in Gandhinagar to ascertain and also to carry out a DNA analysis and ascertain the identification. There were reports that some of the victims were brutally murdered after sexual assault, and CBI initially had carried out an excavation and also excavation at the shelter home, but did not recover anything. But once they arrested Sunil, who was a driver of Bharat Singh Thakur, they made him undergo lie detection test. And during one of the scientific tests, he admitted that one of the girls was murdered and her skeletal remains were buried in this abandoned cemetery. CBI has also informed the Supreme Court that many of the rape survivors are suffering from severe trauma and they need counseling before they can complete their investigation. But sources within Special Crime Unit have told Times Now that the case is on the verge of a breakthrough. They are very close to cracking the case, and they have said that by the time they will find the next affidavit, there will be some substantial developments in this case.
All right, many thanks, Bhavtosh, for joining us with those details. And the skeleton that they have found will be taken up for forensic, and with this entire investigation that they've taken up, they're also feeling that they will be close to a breakthrough very soon. And in some more news breaking this minute, the Supreme Court has asked the Joint Secretary of the Women and Child Development Ministry to assist the court on steps being taken by the centre to frame the child protection policy and for framing of the guidelines for rehabilitation of minor rape victims. Our Deputy News Editor Meenakshi now joining me on the phone line. Meenakshi, a very important and concerning observation that has been made by the Supreme Court, also highlighting how there are many girls suffering, like the one that we have found in Bihar, also going ahead and asking the ministry, the Women's Ministry, to assist them in framing guidelines.
Well, indeed, Amita, that is really interesting because, one, the Supreme Court is continuing to be seized of the matter. And as you heard there, Bhavtosh also reiterate as to how, again, the CBI has informed the Supreme Court about these horror stories coming out from Bihar. And today, Honorable Justice Madan Lokur also observing as to how there may be many more girls suffering like the 24 found in the Bihar shelter home, and therefore the Supreme Court has sought the assistance of Joint Secretary of Women and Child Welfare to assist the court on steps being taken by the central government to frame child protection policy and also for the framing of guidelines for the rehabilitation of minor rape victims. This is not the first time the Supreme Court is urging Amita, for greater central government's participation / role in this particular issue. On earlier occasions, we have seen the central government say that respective state governments also really need to come on board and assume greater responsibility. But clearly, with this summoning or rather seeking of assistance from the Joint Secretary level bureaucrat of the Ministry of Child and Women Development, the Supreme Court is seeking greater participatory role, greater involvement of the central government in this issue.
All right, many thanks, Meenakshi, for joining us with those details.